On January the 12th, 2023, a community meeting town home meeting was held in Chicago, Thursday night in Woodlawn, and it was packed with many people not happy about the city's decision to go ahead and open up a shelter for asylum seekers, without their input, at a vacant elementary school campus. Many residents say they will be impacted by higher property taxes, and what crime it will bring to their community. They were angry, and their Chicago alderman assured them everything would be alright in the community. This economy impacts big cities like Chicago, New York, and California. Tell me what you think by giving me feedback to go ahead and open up a shelter for asylum seekers, without their input, at a vacant elementary school campus. Many residents say they will be impacted by higher property taxes, and what crime it will bring to their community. They were angry, and their Chicago alderman assured them everything would be alright in the community. This economy impacts big cities like Chicago, New York, and California. Tell me what you think by giving me feedback.
I'm in Chicago on 79th Street. And the thing is, 79th and Burham, and what happened is the immigration problem in Chicago. Our issue is really out of hand. But I guess one has to take in consideration that people coming from Mexico, they need a place to live, and they're dealing with migrants. They're passing out vouchers for the home. And like I said, we in the United States in Chicago.
That you all finally at the city council as the black council, the black caucus, put your residents first. We are in this room saying no. We are saying no to 115th Hostel. We are saying no to South Shore. We are saying no to all their laws. We are saying no to North Park.
Chicago.
When they came and met with us, let me first say that the table around challenged people. They challenged them. They said, you're coming to talk to us, but we have the feeling this is a done deal. They responded, no contract has been signed. I cannot give you a definite, no, this will not happen. Because I'm aware of what is in my authority as an alderman. I'm also aware of other aldermen who have said, no, guess what? They haven't. I'm also aware that if I tell you no, this is not happening, and then the decision is made without me, then guess what? How does that impact my relationship with you? So, I made a commitment that I'm going to practice leadership, and I'm going to communicate to you from the day that I took office. This is why we're having that meeting. I'm not waiting for someone to make a decision for us and then we are reactionary to it. I'm saying that if this happens anywhere in our ward, we have to be prepared and have a plan for it. Otherwise, would you expect me to just get on TV and say, oh, well, we didn't want it and it's coming here? That's not the leadership that you deserve. And so I'm going to keep fighting for our interests in the war. That is my priority. Our interests first. And I'm going to keep being honest with you about whether it's challenges or opportunities that are in front of us and work together so that we can figure out how we go forward.
Giving on to God, and then my life first.
I just want to give you, we'll have a presentation
I live in this ward on Fifth Street. But I was a victim of an attempted carjacking in 2021. The car door was open and the gun was put to my head. Thank God I'm still here. And they had heard this voice on the news when it happened. So my concern, I know I heard somebody mention safety over there, but when I'm at the light coming off the expressway, it's people at my car with signs and different people I've never seen before. So my concern is, what about the safety of the people that are already here, like for real, because I get paranoid. And yes, I have a CCL, and when I see them walking up to my car, I make myself prepared now, because I was unprepared when that gun was put to my head. And I don't think it's fair to them or me, because maybe they are just asking or in need of something, but that don't make me feel safe. So I'm concerned about my daughter, my sons, my grandsons, just our safety. And again, like they said, we're not concerned about the people, but we got to worry about us that been here. Thank you.
First again, say the priority of us is us first. The specific example that you gave about folks being at the exits or entrances of expressways is something that we can strategy. Now, about call our office, we can reach out to the proper channels to have that enforcement done. Historically, we know that has happened before migrants got here. And so it's a new face thing. What happens is if you call our office and ask us to report it or report it to us, then we can work on enforcement of it. A tax bill that oftentimes they cannot.
Listen, I got one simple question. You talked about seniors, and I'm one of them.
So,
my chief concern is a lot of different things being done, a lot of developments, and a lot of progress being done in 21st ward. I don't know how you going to pay for all this. You said
okay.
The city, $30 million. I read to date is that it will cost over $200 million to support people.
As we develop,
I understand what the city is trying to do. But what about us? I'm concerned about whether or not I'm going to eat tomorrow. Okay? I'm concerned about people walking through my driveway stealing my car because they've done that. You know, I'm concerned about the fact that we gives me $13 a month for the chance to eat.
That's half a meal.
Why are we taking all this money and distributing it on the people when we got people right here who need food, shelter, housing, clothing?
and so as these things that you are well
Now get real right with this one. Let's get real with this one.
or live outside of the board to find some. Not only government but community does this work together. So when you talk about like food access and so forth, we're at Sheldon Heights that has a food pantry right next door. There's also seeds that intentionally make sure that you can dine with dignity. So there are more resources out here. Maybe we can do a better job in what
We have to, because we get more mouths to feed.
For me, it's about employment. It's about job opportunities so that you have your own income to purchase the things that you need. When you talk about how things are getting paid for through good combinations of government at the state level, our state representative Justin Slaughter and our state senator Eno Jones, that project is across the street has been awarded $15 million. So they are doing their job in bringing home and allocating the funds from Springfield, making sure that they reach our community. I'm going to keep working with our partners at every level of government so that we can map out, one, what needs to be done, and two, how it gets paid for.
I didn't hear
Good
anything about
evening,
that.
my black people. I don't have a question because we're not going to spend all the minutes.
That would have been appropriate.
It's a waste of time. What I'm here to say to you all right now is we have to collectively take accountability for who we've been voting for. Okay? I am not pro-Republican and I'm not pro-Trump. But what I am going to sit up here and tell you is the Democratic Party has been playing in our faces for way too long. Way too long. We know that people in Beverly, as well as Morgan Park, said no. And you know if you don't have a relationship with the mayor, the people in your community will have your back. Fuck him. So if you say no and you don't have a relationship with him, guess what? We can make him a one-term mayor and still have your back.
When you talk about, here is in part like the conversation where this started some years ago, right? When you talk about vacant land, when you talk about vacant buildings, where are they? This is something that we've already
On the west side, south side.
West side of Chicago. So when this conversation first started,
Northwest side.
that was a part of it. Again, this is not limited to the south side, the west side, and so forth. So I hear you on that. Again, that is why we push. 2 years ago, rather than is the federal government's office in front of the application, doing calling a press conference here and just saying like, I want this to happen. How is literally the ability to act these things.
The press is over there, it's gone.
I share with that this won't be my last time. Power of the because I share with you there's something outside of my power.
I'm in Chicago on 79th Street. And the thing is, 79th and Burham, what happened is the immigration problem in Chicago, our issue, is really out of hand. But I guess one has to take in consideration that people coming from Mexico, they need a place to live, and they're dealing with migrants. They're passing out vouchers for the home. And like I said, we in the United States in Chicago, and talk to some of the people that live in the community. The vouchers that they're passing out, they're supposed to be utilized. There were only 50 vouchers that were supposed to be out, but the word got out, and the immigrants have come over here to get the vouchers, but you can't really blame them. There's an immigration problem in Chicago, and like I said, there are people there that are really mad because there are resources that are being taken from individuals in Chicago that have been homeless for a long time. And you have people wondering why weren't these resources
Property tax
given to individuals in Chicago before Governor Abbott sent the immigrants to Chicago. And like I said, this is South Shore community. And you know, you had people, everybody Lake Shore Drive. And you had people that are upset.
I have found it wise that even I have been out trailing snow trucks to ensure that our ward is being protected. And also part of the leadership of our ward superintendent, Bessie Reddick. She commands the trucks and the laborers that are there. So, if there is any issue that ever arises about your trucks, snow removal, trash, and so forth, Bessie Redding is the 21st Ward Superintendent, the person to get the job done. I'm going to do a question from the card first. Alderman Mosley, could you please explain how the English secondary language program for for the migrant children works and how can ensure that the immigrants don't transmit other diseases to our children and families. I start with the bottom one first. Is one, that the Cook County Health Department has been doing a great job in partnering with that in terms of vaccinations and health. Two, this was discussed yesterday, where you place children. There are children that have been placed in Inglewood and no one in the school can communicate with them. It's an issue that CPS and the district is aware of. They've been working to get folks that can speak in a native language. And if you are a person that speaks multiple languages and are looking for contract opportunities, you can reach out to our office. We'll make sure that you get connected. About alternative sites, I honestly don't know. When I started this conversation, I think this is more so, the first question was about a cap. I talked about that. The second one is more so a statement, make it mandatory that you learn and apply English language if, but since they have to stay.
Well, we weren't in here everyone wasn't in here to hear about the cap, so is there a cap?
There is not a cap.
Why shouldn't it be? Just come as you will, huh?
So it's not come as you will. To recap, the first stop is at the border. The U.S. Department of Customs and Border Protection are the ones that go through the asylum process when folks, they interview them and determine if they can seek asylum or not. After that is when we are experiencing the governor of Texas putting people on buses and sending them to the city of Chicago, to our airports, our bus stations, and then we start the process from there.
Well, I heard New York had put a cap on how many they would receive, so why Chicago can't?
The issue of tonight's meeting is that of housing. And historically, Black people have been in a segregated housing solution. What is being proposed at 115th in Boston is also a segregated housing solution. It's immigrants versus those who are not. Those who are here versus those who are coming here. I think that the city, if we should come to 115th in Boston, be one for homeless people, which includes homeless Chicagoans who are moving.
I don't disagree with that. I've been saying that these services have to be available to everyone, not just migrants, but again, folks who have been here suffering from these issues for a long time.
So when they put that facility at 115th in Boston, will you allow the city council to debate or to discuss putting Americans in that facility also?
Yes. Again, the budget meeting, so one, I want to make sure that for a second I thought you were talking about Morgan Park Commons, but it seems like you've gone back to Chicago. We have already started, just in this budget conversation, our choice around language. There was a debate about why the 33 million says that it is for migrants. It was relayed that because of the source of that funding coming from FEMA and the type of grant that it is, there's a lot of folks in our community that are in nonprofits. They know about restricted grants. This grant was specifically for that. My colleague, Alderman and Chairman Mitchell, brought up those questions and said, hey, well, why aren't we being intentional about how we are allocating funding as well? Are we going to start saying that this is for Chicagoans that are here now? Ownership is one. The owners of the east side have a...
Can I speak? How you doing? How you doing, Alderman? I hope you sleep good tonight. We're looking forward to you getting some rest because you put in a lot of hard work and overtime. But here's what I'm looking at here. I've been listening to everything we talked about, and I'm not a plumber, but if I'm not mistaken, everything's fucking through Texas, they're sending people here, and you mentioned something about the government having control of where these migrants go. If that is the United States, I want to guess that we got over 48 states here in America. These states, you know, where these immigrants are going besides Chicago, New York, and Atlanta. Where are they going? Are they going to other states? Other states open the doors because they are United States. We're talking United States. We shouldn't be open across the board if we're talking about government, right?
At least we got a front shot.
It should be open across the board. It shouldn't have them coming here. You want to send 2,000 here, send 2,000 to probably North Dakota, South Dakota. Pick some other states that can take people on. If you want to put it out there, put it across the board. Now, do you have that number?
Wyoming.
Do you have that number? That's what I want to know. I'm Floyd Manning. I'm new to the ward, but I'm glad I'm here because I'm enjoying myself. But I want to get that answer. We all want to know where everybody's going. You got more than 5 states. Let's find out how many states is open to having these.
I may ask my colleague to correct me or add more notes to what I said. When I go outside of Chicago, there's Denver, Colorado, and there's Los Angeles. Again, it is not the border, the federal government that is sending them to different cities. This is a determined decision that has been made by the Texas governor of who and where he is going to send people. And so, and the ones who enforce that, who enforce issues between states and states, is the federal government. Which is why we call the federal government that. Answer more questions from the comments, from the cards, before I go to the left.
I'm in Chicago on 79th Street. And the thing is, 79th and Burham, and what happened is the immigration problem in Chicago. Get the real news. And today I have not had a politician on in about maybe 15 years. But Donnell, he told me about he's an extraordinary guy, and I'm gonna have you introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me on the show, Mr. Bradley. My name is Froy Jimenez. I'm a proud CPS teacher and a proud CPS union member with the Chicago Teachers Union. I'm also a father, above all, a husband, and I am somebody that is running for the 1st District of the State Senate here in Illinois.
And I want to ask you, I want you to specifically talk about immigration, because this is a big issue. The country is divided. It's like Moses parting the Red Sea. Some people on this side, some people on that side. There it is. And I want to ask you, do you think that President Donald Trump, is wrong on immigration? Did he get it wrong? Or was he right? And why?
Great question. I do concur with you insofar as that President Trump polarizes and continues to polarize our country. I believe that is not good, because we stand as the United States of America, and he is dividing us and segregating us. And his number one purpose behind that is to keep elected. He does it in a political way. His reasons are to politically divide the country so he can stay in office. And so that is going against the better interest of our nation. To be specific, I would like to mention some things that he can do in order to unite us. For instance, immigration is the type of topic that needs comprehensive reform. You're not going to have one solution or one law cover all the different subtopics of immigration. One of the things that I think he can be doing is he can be meeting, like he does with other world leaders, he can be meeting specifically with presidents in Central America, with the president of Mexico, and he needs to press the flesh with them, because much of the problem that is in immigration is not only the United States and our border. The problem originates in parts of Latin America, and I believe if we were able to change some of the laws, international laws, that comes with immigration, we would be dealing with not only the United States, but we would be looking at a more holistic view of how to deal with this comprehensive reform.
My follow-up to that is, he is addressing the immigration laws and making sure that the laws are being enforced, and they were not enforced before. Do you agree with that? I disagree with it. They were not enforced. And he said, you know what? I'm going to make people follow the rules. Do you agree with that? That they were ignored?
I believe
they made it escalate to even get to this point.
I believe we need to fund a comprehensive reform. And what I mean by that specifically,
I'm saying what they ignored before he got in office.
I believe the patrol agents and some of the other staffing were understaffed. And for instance, instead of allocating money to a wall, we should not do that. We should be allocating money for more technology that might detect or might help us in a more efficient way than building a wall that is just, sort of like the ancient wall of China. We can do better than that. We need to work smarter.
I want to go back to the original question. The original question that I asked you is, before he got in office, were these laws ignored by presidents before him to make it escalate to this point?
Now, specifically,
I'm talking about the immigration laws. They were lax. You know what? They were not paid attention to. People were exploiting, and the presidents didn't pay attention to it.
I believe some of those laws were not taken very seriously.
Okay.
I think that we could do a better job of enforcement.
Okay.
I believe that specifically because of our security threats, we need to make sure that we have the capable staff and the training and the technology to be able to deter anyone that is coming to possibly, enter our borders with not the right intentions. Having said that, I do think that there is plenty of people coming into this country that can help. I know that there has been legislation that welcomes people that need to work here, because there's not a lot of people in the U.S. that are willing to do some of the jobs necessary. I'll give you one specific example. In the 1960s, 1970s, there was a program called the Bracero program. And
what does bracero mean?
Bracero means arm. It means strong arm.
Okay.
And it means arm because you need labor to pick different vegetables up, to do the agricultural work that most people really don't want those jobs. But even Mexico is now cooperating so that from Central America there is a protocol so there isn't as many people that are seeking asylum and waiting in U.S. detention center. That being said, we can allocate more resources for those kids, because those kids are suffering trauma and will suffer a lifetime of regret that they went through those conditions. So we need to have the proper staff be able to deal with those kids so that if they do stay in the United States, they don't have any problems in later, having trouble in school or having, issues where they did not seek the proper treatment.
I'm going to ask you a question. This may sound cruel, what I'm going to say. And there's some people that want to know. We don't blame the kids. Shouldn't you blame the parents to a certain extent to even put their kids through something like that, knowing that it was a possibility that something like this tragic could occur? Does any fault go on the parents, in your opinion?
I think you bring up a good point. And I think what you need to look at is, where are these parents coming from? They're coming from an environment. If they stay in that country, and if they stay in those conditions, they're going to die. And I'll tell you why. There is cartels and there is evil people that will definitely punish those families to the point of death. That is why they are leaving. They